Alright, today I'm going to be telling you guys about my top 10 favorite 21 Pilots songs. Let's get right into it. Number 10. Hello, everybody. I chose number 10 as being Addict with a Pen. This is the first song I listened to from the self-titled album, and it brought me a lot of joy listening to it. I enjoyed the different type of melody and the different type of rhythms that I was used to from Vessel and Blurryface. The title itself is very intriguing. It could mean a lot of different things symbolically. Number 9. Hey, hey, hey. Number 9 is Message Man. This is one of my favorite songs from the Blurryface album. I was kind of surprised that it's not very popularized throughout the Click community, and everybody enjoyed it, but it wasn't it wasn't one of the songs that was like stressed out or ride where everyone listened to it. So it kind of pulled me even closer to it to know that it was one of the songs that was not as listened to as some of the other ones. It's got a great message to it because it's the message man, and a part of it that I enjoy the most it's just about rhythm, it's about poetry, it's about finding the right words to fit in the right pieces. 8. Now the night is not coming to an end, everybody. In fact, it is just beginning, but Truce is my favorite 21 Pilots slow song. It is an amazing ending to the Vessel experience, and it brings hope to what it could become in the future. It is a great thing to listen to when you're down. It brings a little bit of hope to you if you're losing it, and it's a great song to just listen to. It's peaceful, it's calm, it has a good melody, and it has a good message to it. 7. Taxicab is an interesting and perfect song for me because I didn't understand it the first few times I listened to it. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would, and I listened to it over and over and over again until finally it just clicked inside of me, and all of a sudden I had this realization, and it just brought me joy to listen to the song. It brought me emotion. It brought ideas inside of me that could symbolize what this song really means, and it's a great song to listen to. I enjoy the parts of 21 Pilots that they're slow, and then all of a sudden, bam, start singing fast. Number 6. Can you save my beginnings? Because they're getting awful at this point in time. Number 6 is Heavydirtysoul. This is an excellent beginning to the 21 Pilots Blurryface album. It symbolizes a very different change from the Vessel. Vessel has a lot of songs that are kind of upbeat, kind of a little bit more poppy feel, and Heavydirtysoul, right at the very beginning of this new album, shows a very different, a very dark change into their new recordings. If this was the very first song I listened to on Blurryface, I would have said, very good, this doesn't sound like 21 Pilots, this is weird. But as I listened to the whole album and I realized, wow, this is really powerful, this is really emotional, in turn ended up enjoying this song more and more than I did in the past. And it has very quickly become one of my favorite 21 Pilots songs. 5. Car Radio is a very powerful and important song to the 21 Pilots history. The song itself is very unique. For one, it doesn't have a chorus, which is very important. It shows that you can write music a different way. It doesn't have to be the same strict way that the music industry wants it to be. It's also unique. Tyler Joseph doesn't really sing a lot. It's more of he's just speaking. He's speaking poetry, he's speaking to the audience, and he's saying things that he knows they will understand. The less music that's in the background, the more it's just his voice talking, the more important it seems to the audience, and it grabs their attention just a little bit more. 4. I'm taking my time on this one because this is definitely my favorite song on the Blurryface album. It was one of my favorite songs the first time I listened to it. It had a very different feel. It was kind of Jamaican, it was kind of islandy, but it still had the definite, oh, this is 21 Pilots singing. This is, it's definitely 21 Pilots. It wasn't like, oh, wow, this is a different band. This is something I've never heard of before. But it definitely brought a new effect into the song, and definitely brought a different change that I enjoyed a lot listening to it. It was great to hear this upbeat. And number 3. All my friends are hopefully still listening to this, because if you've gotten this far, you've listened to number 3, which is Heathens. It's the most recent 21 Pilots song that has come out, and the first time I listened to it, it was leaked. I didn't know if it was even a real 21 Pilots song. I was like, this sounds like it could be them, but it also doesn't, so I was a little bit anxious. And then when I found out that it was a real song, I started listening to it more and more and more. I got it on Apple Music right away when it came out. It was a song that I listened to every day, probably around 30 minutes a day, just listening to this song only. And it was a song that you could definitely feel the Suicide Squad, the evil within, but also the evil within the 21 Pilots music. A numero dos. Migraine is a song that not everybody feels is the heart and soul of 21 Pilots, but I have fallen in love with this song ever since I heard it the first time. It was in April of 2013, and this is actually the song that grabbed my attention. Now, I have heard of Car Radio before then, and I heard of Holding On To You before then, but I had never listened to any of the other songs. So this song was the thing that really got me into 21 Pilots. I actually recorded a little bit of it so that I could write down some of the lyrics and try to find this song, because I'd never heard it. Just the symbolic meaning that it had to me personally, as well as the symbolic meaning that it has to everyone else and Tyler Joseph, as well as 21 Pilots. And at the top of number 1. If you have made it this far, I applaud you. If you skipped to number 1, that is perfectly fine. I would have done the same thing if I was watching a top 10 video. But number 1, in my opinion, is Kitchen Sink. I have heard from multiple people around the world and multiple different sources that Kitchen Sink is one of the better 21 Pilots songs, if you could even rank them, which I don't ask. Kitchen Sink is a very deep, a very empowering, emotional song. It could be one of the most emotional and powerful songs in the 21 Pilots era. It is one of those songs it's older, it's from regional at best, so not everyone's heard of it. The people who are just coming into listening to the 21 Pilots, they're like, Kitchen Sink, what's that? But it's one of those songs that once you've heard it, it sticks with you. You could sing it over and over again. It's one of those songs that he brings his brother in. It's a song that he includes all of us, and he mentions us as his friends. So it's very empowering, it's very emotional to the source. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this little ranking of my top 10 21 Pilots songs. Honestly, every 21 Pilots song I enjoy, I listen to just about every day. There's some I like a little bit more than most, but if I'm listening to Blurryface, I will never skip one. I will listen to them all in order, because I feel like listening to them in order gives them a better emotional effect. It feels like they're supposed to be here. I'm not just listening to the deep ones. I'm listening to them all in order how they should be. And I believe each one of them is unique in its spot.